WNEK FM with the music you like and the news and information you need 7 days a week.
Greg, a lot of controversy brewing over the Olympics already, and it hasn't even started.
Yes, Chris, that's true. The International Olympic Committee has ruled a short while ago that I believe 5 players from Canada, Austria, and Italy have been ruled ineligible for the Winter Olympics in hockey, including Don Dietrich of the Springfield Indians for having signed professional contracts.
Of interest to local fans.
That's why I said that, Chris. Thank you.
All right, so what's this mean anyway?
To Canada, the players they've lost, Mark Morrison, Don Dietrich, and I believe Mario Gosselin, goalie, were the 3 players they lost. Those players are, of course, they're good players, but they're not really dominant players on the team. Gosselin he's only their backup goalie, and I doubt his loss is going to mean very much to him as the other 2 players, but still, it's got to hurt Canada psychologically speaking.
How does Canada rate to the U.S.? I know they play tomorrow night in the opener.
The Olympic Committee seeded Canada 4th and the U.S. 7th overall, and Canada probably has more talent when you look at a player's individual basis, but I feel U.S. is more suited to the Olympic style of play. They're faster and they're more finesse-type players. I feel that's what's going to take to win in the Olympics.
They've played several exhibition games during the last few months.
Yes, with the U.S. coming on top, I believe, in 4 or 5 of those games.
Might want to mention, too, we're going to be taking your calls at a quarter after or so, and you can talk on Olympic hockey or anything else you want to talk about in the world of sports. Pat LaFontaine, the star of the American team, his eligibility status has been questioned too.
Yes, I think I'm quite confident now Pat's is going to be allowed to play because I believe he would have been purged along with the other players, so to speak, this afternoon. Pat was under scrutiny for having well, he stated yesterday he had taken $15,000 in payments to play Canadian junior hockey last season, and there also been talk that he had already signed a contract with the New York Islanders, but apparently nothing's come of that.
And he will be joining the Islanders right after the Olympics.
Yes. Chris, another point about this Olympic thing. Apparently Canada has raised a question about the eligibility of 2 players from the 1980 U.S. team, Ken Morrow and Mike Ruzioni, stating that they had signed professional contracts going into the Olympics. And there's talk of taking back the U.S. gold medal.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me today. Ruzioni was a little teed off about the possibility of somebody taking back his gold medal. What did he say?
He said something to the effect that he'd like to see the Canadians come to his door and ask his father for the gold medal back and see what his father would do about it.
Yeah, I'm sure Mike would be a little angry about that. How about the hockey itself? The U.S., everybody's saying the U.S. has got to beat the Russians and stuff, but they actually may not play the Russians.
Yeah, that's quite true. The U.S. and the Soviet Union are in 2 separate divisions, and they would each have to qualify for the playoffs, so to speak, in the respective division. And the U.S., it's going to be very tough for them. They're in the toughest division. They're pitted against Czechoslovakia, Sweden, and Canada. Those teams are ranked 2, 3, and 4 overall in the tournament, and it's going to be tough for them. But I think they can do it. I think they will.
You think they will advance?
I think
to the medal round.
I think they'll win a medal, bronze or silver. You got to, realistically speaking, you got to look at the Russians.
We're not talking gold this year.
I don't know. Anything's possible.
Really? But all this hassling raises the question of amateur status. I mean, the Eastern Europeans, the Russians, the Czechs, they all receive money. And,
the question is, what is an amateur and what's professional? It's not really stated. Everybody has a different version of what one is.
Really?
Some people say a professional is someone who plays only hockey. That's all he does for a living, and others say you have to take money for it. Whereas the Russians, that's all they do for a living, is just play hockey. They don't receive any money for it. They just receive the consumer goods that you would buy with them, like the money, like cars, food, apartments,
that kind of stuff. I think everybody should be able to play. I like to see Wayne Gretzky in the Olympics. I like to see Mike Bossy. I like to see everybody in there.
I don't know about that.
Why?
Well, they have to look at all the other sports in the Olympics, and they have to let all professionals in then.
Yeah, I say yeah.
That's what you want to do? Make it entirely professional?
I'm saying, just saying athletes, anybody. You, me.
That's good.
Dave Friedman. Just open it up. Anybody who wants to play, let them play.
I'm interested. What are your predictions for the Olympics? What do you see?
Well, not being an expert like you.
That's true.
Yeah, but I think the U.S. can pull some. I've been watching them closely, and I like their coach. I think I read a few articles on him. He made an interesting comment in the paper today on the strength of the Russians. Well, you were saying they're strong too. He says they're very weak. I think I saw them miss 2 passes. And that was commenting on an hour-long practice. You watched. That's Lou Vero, the coach of the U.S. Olympic team.
Well, 2 passes, huh? Ooh, they are something,
not bad
aren't
for an hour practice. But I think the Russians will take it.
Yeah, you definitely have to. You gotta like the Russians. Well, you don't gotta like them.
I don't like them. Here's Ronald Reagan, but
I feel U.S. is gonna. I have a feeling they're gonna win the bronze this year. Czechoslovakia taking the silver.
And I think that would be a good accomplishment, though. Bronze medal would.
Any medal's a good medal, you know.
Yeah, really.
Especially, well, of course, it's gonna be a letdown after 1980 Olympics.
Yeah, USA.
People they're expecting too much from them.
Yeah, Sarajevo is a lot far away than Lake Placid, though.
Also, another player yesterday, Hannu Kampuri, goaltender for Finland. He's their starting goaltender. He was ruled ineligible for playing 1 game with the Edmonton Oilers in 1979.
That was in the World Hockey Association.
Yes, yes.
So, Olympics are on, and we'll be keeping an eye on that. What else is going on in the world of sports here?
There's a rumor of Earl Campbell heading to the Washington Redskins last week.
I heard about that. They offered him to the Redskins, but they wanted Joe Jacoby.
Joe Jacoby,
300-pound offensive all-pro lineman.
And Washington spurned that offer. So
I bet they said, no way. Now, Earl wants to set a precedent by playing in the USFL and the NFL.
Yeah, Earl's got his own style there.
He could do it because guys like Herschel Walker played with Georgia, then he jumped right to the Generals. Sure takes a lot on your body, but he could do it.
Yeah, if anybody can do it, you got to figure Earl Campbell is able to do it.
Yeah, Earl's quite the guy.
Speaking of running backs, what about this Marcus Dupree situation? What's he going to do?
Marcus is looking at Division III possibly, not Western New England, but some schools in Mississippi, because if he wanted to stay in Division I, he would have to sit out the 1984 season. After he just dropped out of Southern Mississippi after transferring from Oklahoma. But can you imagine him playing in Division III?
Running over guys like you.
Well, my career's over in that.
What about USFL possibilities for Marcus there?
Well, interestingly enough, his rights are held by the Generals, who already have Mr. Walker. So that'd be an interesting backfield to see Marcus Dupree and.
I have to correct you on that, Chris. This week the Generals traded his rights to New Orleans Breakers, I believe, of Boston Breakers fame.
Believe it when I see it. I didn't see that.
I'm supposed to have to show it to you then, so you can believe it.
All right, so
speaking about the USFL,
what about it?
They're in practice, and they're practicing right now. That's all really you want to say about the USFL.
Football it's all year now. I've had enough from the NFL.
USFL, they got some new teams. They got Mike Rozier and Brian Sipe, but just doesn't cut it with me. How about you?
No, it doesn't cut it too much. There's some new teams, New Orleans Breakers, and they were the Boston Breakers. No more USFL for New England. I'm sure they won't miss it.
Moving on to baseball, the Yankees yesterday picked up Toby Harrah in exchange for George Frazier and a minor leaguer.
Yeah.
Any feelings about that?
You know, I read Phil Pepe's column in the New York News. Was interesting, saying how the Yankees were preaching that they were going to be on a youth movement, and here they go out and get Harrah. It was 35. They already got Phil Niekro, who was 45. They're going to platoon Nettles and Harrah, 39 and 35-year-old infielders. Doesn't make much sense.
The Geritol crew there.
Yeah, because they lost Gossage free agency, and Frazier, that's 30 out of 32 saves they had in the bullpen last year.
Who are they going to use?
I don't know. They were talking Rigetti maybe in the bullpen.
Then you got to figure that's 20 wins out of the starting rotation there. Then.
Yeah, something's up in the Bronx.
It's interesting to note that George Frazier was traded after taking George Steinbrenner in arbitration. Every player that's ever done that has been traded
banished from George's kingdom.
Dave Revering, Ron Davis, and Bobby Brown. The other three players.
Get on George's bad side. He'll usually send you packing, but you could come back. Witness Billy Martin. One interesting note I wanted to say, Jerry Ford, former president of the U.S., was playing golf in the Bing Crosby Pro-Am tournament out there in California, and he hit another spectator.
Yeah, Jerry plays golf about as well as he runs the country.
No, this tee shot. He was playing with Jack Nicklaus, the great, but he's got to control that slice. He's done that before too, and I don't know. I just thought I might mention that.
Perhaps playing a little too much football without a helmet there at Michigan State.
Yeah, I've heard that before. It's old material.
So, do we have a caller, Alex?
All right, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna go to your calls at 783-4183.
Today, your roving reporter takes you to the Wild West Saloon to interview Billy the Kid, bank robber, outlaw, and all-round bad guy. Billy, why are you so mean?
Backache. All that bending over safes, reaching for them heavy gold bars, and twisting around in the saddle to see if the boss is catching up just tears up your back. And pain makes me irritable.
I see. Perhaps this free booklet from the American Physical Therapy Association can help. It has a whole section on preventing backache.
I can't read.
Just follow the pictures.
Where'd you get this anyway?
It can be yours free if you write to APTA, Box 700, Washington, D.C. 20044.
Free. I'd rather steal it. Stick 'em up.
Information on backache prevention is a steal. For your free booklet, write to APTA, Box 700, Washington, D.C. 20044. That's APTA, Box 700, Washington, D.C. 20044.
All right, we're back on Coach's Corner. Greg, you have a trivia question we're going to throw out before we go to our callers.
Being how it's Olympic hockey time, question is, what was the only country the United States did not defeat in Olympic hockey in 1980? If you know the answer, call in, and you won't win anything, but
be on the air. So who is on the air? Who's our first caller?
Hello? Go ahead. I don't know the answer to the trivia question.
Why not?
Because I didn't call about the trivia question.
Who am I talking to here?
Pardon?
Who's speaking?
Anonymous sports fan from 1212L.
Okay.
I believe we know this person.
Yeah, I think I know who it is. But go on.
Yes, I'd like to discuss the apparent and subsequent demise of the four-time champion New York Islanders. It seems apparent that this is their year for a major downfall.
We have no idea what you're referring to.
You're the expert on the Islanders. Tackle this guy. Okay?
Well, apparently, if the Islanders were in the Bruins division, they'd be like in third or fourth place.
Yeah, well, they're not in the Bruins division. They're in their own division, Pat.
What I'm saying is they're very lucky.
Very lucky. The Islanders have been hit with an incredible amount of injuries. They've lost Brian Trottier and Mike Bossy, Brent Sutter, to name only a handful.
Do you realize the injuries that have occurred to the Boston Bruins this season?
But whereas the Islanders have lost Bossy and
brothers, McTavish.
They're losing a lot of little guys. You're saying it would be comparable to the Bruins losing Rick Middleton, Pedersen, and
Ray Bourque.
Yeah.
That's Peterson.
Pedersen, I don't know. All right, but no, you raise a point. The Islanders, you think they're going down. You lose 87 goals. Sutter, Trottier, and Bossy, it's 87 goals in that lineup. It's going to hurt any team. Those guys are going to be back, and they're also going to get Pat LaFontaine from the Olympic team.
And, of course, Pat Flatley from the Canadian team.
So I would say, no, the Islanders aren't through yet. Right.
Well, in my opinion, this would be their year for, I think they're going to go down this year in the playoffs.
Who might you think's going to take it this year?
I'm pretty sure they're going to be in the playoffs, but...
Yeah,
I mean, last year they obviously dominated against the Bruins, I'll admit it all the way, in the playoffs.
that.
Who are you picking for the Cup, though, if I might ask?
For the Cup, the Bruins are healthy. They're going to have to go with them. For their all-out shot in the boards, they're number one in the corner.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the see the Whalers make a move against the Bruins.
No, being from Connecticut myself, I don't really appreciate the comments about the Whalers.
Whales are a federal disaster. They apply for
The Whalers are a building team. They're building. They have Emile Vicat Francis, which I feel he's going to do something with that team sooner or later, and it's just going to be phenomenal what they're going to do in the NHL within 2 or 3 years.
So you're going to become a whale fan?
Sylvain Turgeon, he's comparable, if not better, than Pat LaFontaine.
Well, I'll have to call you on that one. We'll have to wait and see about that.
LaFontaine has not even played in the NHL yet, and but he's being touted as the next LaFleur Boston type. Well, all right, you get a little out of hand here, but
That's what drinking can do to you, boys and girls. Don't get mixed up in alcohol out there.
Well, yeah, I just hope I made my point, and thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
okay, we'll see you later. Right?
Bye-bye.
Quite a first call.
Ooh, scary.
Real scary. Really lighten up the switchboards here. Calls.
If anybody else wants to call and make a make a point, the number is 783-4183, and we'll talk to you no matter who you are.
Let me ask you something about your own sporting interest, Greg. You went skiing this weekend. That was the first. Take any spills or what?
You could say that. my clothes were thoroughly soaked. That's to be expected of a beginner.
Okay, we have a caller. Hello.
Hello,
How you doing?
this is Gordy. I'd like to answer your trivia question.
Go ahead, Gordy.
Sweden and U.S. tied 2-2, and I think that's the only one that didn't win.
Ooh, go, Gordy,
All
go.
right, Gordy.
All right, Gordy, who scored the tying goal? What were the circumstances? You know anything else about that game?
I think it may have been Buzz Schneider, but I'm not sure.
That's right, you're not sure. You're not right either.
All right, good try.
And I also like to agree with the last caller saying the Islanders will go down this
Why?
Stanley Cup in the first round.
To who? The Flyers?
Flyers, perhaps, Gordy?
What?
Possibly. Maybe the Rangers.
Maybe the Rangers?
Maybe not, Gordy.
In relation to Gordie Howe.
One final thing. What do you think about the Sixers' chances of repeating?
I think the Sixers are finding it harder the second time around, looking at the Celtics' 6.5 game lead.
7.5 now.
Although they have been hit by the injury bug, and you know what that can do to a team. Are you a Sixer fan? Gordy.
Gordy.
All right, little immature kid.
So much for Gordy.
I don't know what we're going to do with these guys.
Oh, so it's Gordy. Gordy got that question. We got another trivia question. Speaking of basketball, who are the only 2 NBA players to score 50 points in consecutive nights? That's nights, not games.
All right, that's a good question.
Anybody knows the answer? You can call in 783-4183.
We're on the subject of basketball. I'd like to talk about the Wnek intramural b-ball. There's a little controversy going on because of the way they're running that.
Looks like the Olympic eligibility rules there.
Somewhat. Wnek tournament is. We have a caller. Hello, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air.
I'm on the air?
You're on the air.
Yeah, this is an anonymous caller from Death Row. I'd like a little warning here that the doors are on the way down.
Ooh, that's quite a hefty statement there.
Yeah.
Those who don't know, Doors and Death Row were met in the finals of the Wnek Cup. And the Doors won on a controversial goal in overtime, 5-4. Controversial
From the death row standpoint, but
Yeah, you know,
it's fine to me.
Yeah, they look pretty good. Why do you think?
I don't think that was a goal.
Well, we're not going to argue about that now. Game's over. Nothing we can really do about
water
it.
under the bridge.
But
I don't know.
what are your reasons for?
Prove that you know that was a goal?
What are your reasons though for feeling the Doors are going to go down?
Because Death Row's #1.
Just can't argue that.
I mean, I've observed the team. I mean, you guys got. I mean, granted, you got a good team, but I mean, I think Anastasi should be getting more playing time. I mean, that kid's a goal scorer. That's all there is to it.
Who is this?
Anastasi.
Vito, oh, crazy Vito.
Vito is a little buzz bomb out
We've
there.
got a lot of good
he's
returners.
The most prolific scorer. I've observed all the teams, and he's the most prolific scorer in the league. I mean, by far.
Vito, is that you?
Vito, some of the Vito fan club out there.
I think Oshasky should get more playing time.
Shasky is out of shape.
Oshasky's tough on D.
I saw that guy in a scrimmage.
He's a real tough player, and I don't know. A few line changes maybe. That Spiv kid, I don't know.
Gordy Spivak you're referring to?
I think Spiv's hurt in the first line.
Intramurals hockeys are coming up in March, and it's not too early to get your team together because, as you can see, Death Row's out there, and they're making threats already, and the Doors also have their team together. So get your team together now and start practicing.
All right, hey, we'll meet you guys there.
Hey, we'll see you later.
See you in the rink.
Yeah, take it easy.
Interesting calls.
Ooh, he's
threats.
Let's see him back those statements up and see our team.
Well, I don't think that was a Death Row caller. I think that was
synonymous.
Maybe. We're talking about that basketball tournament, though. It's closed, and that means that you have to have. If you want to have a team, you have to have them all from Gateway, or you all have to be engineers. I don't see the reasoning behind it, and some teams are disqualified for not going by those rules. Hockey is not that way. I don't know what the story is.
Well, it's definitely a controversy. Some people we know personally have been they've been hit by this.
Yeah.
Gordy is one of them. Not much we can do about that. If you got any views about that, call in and we'll talk about it.
Okay, but looking at some other items here, Peter McNabb was traded to the Vancouver Canucks Friday night, and he's been on the trading block for, it seems like, the last 5 years, and he finally was traded.
I tell you the truth, I think it's going to hurt the Bruins.
You think so?
The Bruins, after Peterson and McNabb, and Middleton, excuse me, there's not really much potent goal scoring there. McNabb, he's a pure goal scorer, and I think they're going to miss him.
And he scored over 300 goals with the Bruins. And the guy they got in return was Jim Mills?
Yeah, defenseman from Vancouver, I believe. Not really one of your more better-known players.
I don't know. McNabb is 32, and Mills is 26. Still to be a good penalty killer. But you'd like to have a guy like McNabb in there because he can score some of the big goals.
Still, you figure he had to go sometime, and why not now?
And they got something younger in return for him. So we'll see how that works out. And we were talking about Wayne Gretzky last week and how he played in the All-Star game with an injured shoulder, but he's out now. And the Oilers are taking they did take a beating Sunday.
Yeah, they got destroyed 9-2 by the Capitals last night with Gretzky and Jari Kurri out of the lineup. Perhaps showing that without Gretzky in the lineup, the Oilers don't really amount to much.
Yeah, it shows that any team that lose some of their top stars are going to be in trouble. All right, we have a caller. You're in the air.
Hello, this is Tom Reed calling. I want to find out, what do you think the Cougars' chances of winning everything in the intramural basketball this year?
All right, the Cougars are the only team that I really know about. I know the Wallies, the Gogan, Colville team, and I know the Cougars personally, and I think they're good. I don't really know the rest of the competition to say.
You've got like the Hamden team with Corini, Connolly, Sanborn.
I tend to think we have a very powerful team. We have a good, strong rebounding. We got Roy Spivak coming in for 6 man off the bench, and we just think that we have, with that combination plus our strive and determination to win it all, we can just take it this year.
It's a good attitude you have there. We'll give you that.
I'm pretty confident. I don't know that I was going to win any ball games. What about the competition? Have you played the toughest team yet?
The faculty seems to be stacked with quite a bit of size, but they are older, and I think in the later stages of the game we'll take control with our fast break.
You guys defeated the faculty, that's correct, right?
Hello.
Hello.
You guys defeated the faculty already, haven't you?
Yes, this is before they added a few guys to their roster.
Such as who?
Well, they picked up a rather large black guy named Ronnie. He's a janitor here. He's about 6'5", very wide. Mr. Dunk, he's pretty big.
Well, better than Zbrisky.
Yeah, I have to concede that. Yeah,
that's good.
As good as Dave is, that he's a little bit better.
I would like to see some return to old-time basketball, less of an emphasis on dunking.
Tope Wake, Dick Clapper.
Yeah, it becomes too much of a show. Well, thank you for your call, Tom.
All right, thank you.
All right, we got a lot of input on the intramural stuff. Just showing that Wnek kids are into intramurals.
Seems that it is a pretty serious situation here, and a lot of people are concerned about it.
I'd like to see President Miller step in personally and take over this thing.
President Miller, if you're out there listening, call in and we'll talk sports with you.
I don't know what to say, but looking at my item list, we talked over most of the items. There are a few other ones. Keith Hernandez is close to signing a contract with the Mets, and they better sign him because they've made some stupid mistakes in the last few weeks.
Cutting Dave Kingman definitely was not one of them, though.
That was a good move. Dave is free now.
Not much you can like about Dave Kingman.
Yeah, he was sort of. We do have a call.
One last caller.
We have time for one last one.
You're on.
Yeah, how you doing?
Okay, yourself?
Good. Yeah, in response to the Cougars. Yeah, well, you know, I've been, you know, watching it and stuff, and I think don't the Cougars have a couple of legal players on their team? That Zabriskie guy you were just talking about?
I think if they're close to
you know how you're supposed to have, like you were saying, like from Gateway and Plymouth and everything?
I know it's a closed tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was just wondering because, you know, I know Dave Zabriskie lives in Plymouth and, yeah, Mike Spivak too, and I was just wondering how they could do that.
That is a good point. And
yeah.
You'll have to talk to Eric Gilda.
Who's Eric Gilda?
Eric Gilda is the athletic director at West New England. And, you'll have to talk to him.
Well, I think on dark horse in the intramural league is McNamara's team.
Are you by any chance connected with McNamara's team?
No, I don't play. No, I just, you know some of the guys on the team. They were kind of pissed off that, you know, I don't know, what was his name? Tom Reed?
Tom Reed, I think he's the captain of the Cougars.
Oh, yeah, well, I just wanted to, you know, clarify that because I thought, you know, everybody supposed to be from, like, Gateway or Plymouth, and I know that the Cougars have a couple of legal players, so.
As I understand, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, all right, well, I just want to check it out. Nice talking.
Okay,
right,
thanks for your call.
All right.
All right, that's all the callers we have time for. Next week we're going to have Kevin McCaskill as a guest, Wnek basketball star, hopefully. And we are going to have a time to take some more calls next week, and hopefully get a little more mature calls. You know, some of them are a lower level.
Yeah.
6th grade. Any final comments, Greg?
No, I said keep an eye on this Olympic hockey situation. It's bound to explode sooner or later.
Really?
A couple more purges this week, maybe. Canada and U.S. open the Olympics tonight in hockey.
Oh, it is tonight?
Tonight they're playing, but
be on television tomorrow night?
Television tomorrow night.
All right, you heard it. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.